is having some issue. Yeah, Krishna, you there?
So I could actually read the question she has
Yeah,
asked.
yeah.
She
Right,
says that,
right.
does GDPR have a retrospective effect? I think GDPR isn't retrospective as such, because the EU adopted this after a two-year-old transition period, which was intended for the organizations to allow them to, prepare for the regulation. This means the GDPR has actually been in force since 2016, and there is a transition period of 18 months which was provided, but effectively it is not. There were previously comments by some of the EU officers that even if the data is historic, if the things are discovered today, uh, you know uh, GDPR is applicable, but it's not in that way. It was not retrospective. It's not meant to be retrospective, and it's not provided under that particular regulation. That's my answer about it.
Yeah, am I audible now?
Yes, yes, Krishna,
Yeah,
you're
hi.
there.
Yeah, sorry, I think there was some technical glitch happening at my end. So,
Okay.
yeah, so my question, thanks a lot, Zami, for answering that. I'll just walk you through my remainder of the questions to get a clearer understanding. So, my questions revolve around two fundamental aspects. One, with regards to appointment of an EU representative. Another one is with regards to execution of binding corporate rules and Article 47. So I'll just go with my first question that
Yeah.
with regards to appointment of an EU rep, which jurisdiction or rather a supervisory authority should be preferred over others within the EU region?
Okay. Uh, which jurisdiction or other supervisory authority? Uh, I mean, so yesterday we were in a session of Brexit, and we were talking about this part of it, when we talk about Paris, etc.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not too sure on the jurisdiction which you should choose. Uh, if you ask me personally, I would choose Paris.
Okay, and cool. Another one that I had was that if the no deal Brexit goes through, and considering the recent comments and commitments the newly elected Prime Minister made, there is a possibility of going ahead with the no deal Brexit. Now, if that happens, and I've gone through the ICO websites as well, they propose that on the line of GDPR, UK shall have its own Personal Data Privacy Act, and that shall require appointment of a local representative within UK. Now, this entire process wherein an Indian entity catering to the Europe, and especially there are a lot of entities that cater to UK. Now, the entire process of appointing these EU representatives and UK representative, isn't this entire thing hindering the corporate ease? And is there any way around it, or should we just go ahead and make it another service and outsource it to the other entities?
No, so this is exactly, we were discussing on all these points only. So, what has happened is, while they are there in EU, uh, they have adopted Rome 1 and Rome 2, as you are aware about. Okay. Now, if that choice is not made, the other option you have got is Hague Convention on Choice of Courts. Now, what I have been updated by the person from Baker McKenzie yesterday while we were having this chat in a conference of PwC and Baker McKenzie is that when Rome 1 and Rome 2 was adopted before the EU, even after the Brexit happens, Rome 1 and Rome 2 will still be adopted because that's the choice of law they have been following. Now, when it comes to completely sidelining everything, there is a Hague Convention of Choice of Courts, which is available to them. But when specifically asked that, whether the environment in terms of Rome 1 and Rome 2 on choice of courts will completely change, they said even after the Brexit, the position will remain the same because that's been adopted and there are judgments and case studies which are there. You can't have this drastic change. So, for example, he said there is a case known as Westland where there was an anti-suit injunction. So, what happens when Hague Convention on Choice of Court is adopted? There are three consequences which happen. One is that anti-injunction suits can be taken. There can be damages for breach of exclusive jurisdiction, like you said about GDPR and EU. There can be also consequences regarding other damages which can. Now, therefore, they are not very clear that whether they should get into that particular zone, because Brexit itself is a controversy which is happening for them. They would like to keep the Zone 1 and Zone 2, which is existing in the present scenario, and they would like that to be the general agreement at this moment, is the position I've given. The caveat line is always that it is subject to Mr. Johnson, and we laughed off that. So that's the present position which is going to be there and which is going to remain. If they adopt Hague Convention on choice of courts, these are the issues which may come up, and therefore they want to avoid that. That's my answer to it. Yeah,
Had last question that I had was with regards to the requirement that the GDPR states with regards to execution of binding corporate rules within the entities within the group wherein there is a free flow transfer of data that happens. Now,
right.
there's a twofold question that I have in this regard. First, should an execution of a DPA be preferred over executing BCR? Because any which way BCR has both internal and external binding effect as the GDPR states. And
Correct.
second, if you're going ahead with executing the BCR, now
Correct.
which of the supervisory authority specifically for your BCR approval should be preferred over others? I agree with your EU rep that Paris might be that one jurisdiction, but
Yeah.
for getting the BCR approved, should a jurisdiction be preferred over others?
I cannot, Zamir, I can just like address that subject.
Yeah.
Is that
Add
Yeah,
up.
I would say
yeah,
related to the corporate organization, which is I would say I'm quite familiar with. So first of all, for the BCR, that's definitely binding corporate rules. That's definitely the move to I would say validate the transfer and the flow of the information within your capital group. So if you want to hold on the data privacy agreements, that's not the way. Basically, corporate binding rules, that's the way. So there's nothing like DPA to be preferred, because with the DPA then it would mean that you need to undersign a lot of these DPAs, because you need to then in each DPA, so data processing agreement, you need to identify what's the legal ground, what's the objective, and you need to very deeply, I would say, characterize the context and nature of the data, which is not really effectively within the capital group. That's why DPA is not the solution within the capital group, because you are basically limiting your flexibility in terms of the process, the data flow within the organization. So definitely CB corporate binding rules are the way to move on. Secondly, as you asked already a few times the same question about this jurisdiction, please know GDPR is the same application everywhere in EU. So irrespective whether it's Germany, France, or another European Union country, the same law applies. It doesn't matter how stringent is the local regulator. And obviously, the local regulator should be the one that you have your subsidiary within EU located. So if you have German subsidiary, then follow the German competent authority to also approve your corporate binding rules. That's, I would say, the way to move on.
And it's completely clarified that if you are in the European Economic Area, I mean it applies to companies which are there in economic areas as well as outside it. So it's been clarified to that extent. Okay. Anyone else?
I believe we can basically wrap up the session. And I would like to sincerely thank you for your time, for your precious time. Basically, I know you guys are very, very busy with the different times of work at the same point of time. So thank you so much for being there with us. And I would like to thank the attendees as well for keeping the good quality of questions over there. Thank you, Krishna and others. And we look forward to connect with you in the next set of webinars, which I'll keep you posted on. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day ahead.
thanks,
Thank you,
thanks
everyone.
everyone, thanks Amir, thanks a
Thank
lot.
you.